What if you could wake up, check your dashboard, and your AI agent has already scraped all of your comments, filtered if any of them were useful, did deep research on the ones that were, and generated hooks and scripts for future content? To summarize the build, we're taking a post on social media, running it through a model to see if it's interesting. If it's interesting, we run it through another model to do some research on it. We take that research, run it through another model, and generate a structured output that we want. So we want a hook, we want some value, and a script generated, which is generated for us and uploaded into a Google Sheet. So we get the generated script, structure, hook that we're looking for, and it also will post the link of the content that it's pulling it from. So you have it all in one line item. Just think, if you're sitting there trying to generate content with your brain, just thinking about ideas, or however you think of ideas in your notes, or you have a running list, or whatever the case may be, if you're marketing or doing social media, this literally generates great ideas from the most electric places on the internet. The comment section on absolutely viral content. So you don't have to sit there and be the smartest person in the room or the wittiest or the most thoughtful. You're already working with proven ideas. Some comments in the comment section on viral posts are funnier than the post, or more interesting, or more thoughtful, or more educational. So it really dramatically cuts down on the amount of time that you spend thinking about content, and it just shows up in a Google Sheet for you. So if you wake up out of bed, you roll over, and you have 100 content ideas with scripts. So it can just save you so much time. Learning this stuff alone is tough. That's why I created a private community where you can get answers, share your wins, and connect with people on the same journey. Join us. The link is in the description. I'll see you inside. The first thing we want to do is add a trigger, and this will be, we'll go to form submission, and here we will do, just give it a title, infinite content ideas. We can add a form element. We will call this Instagram Reel URL. Make this a required field, and when the form is submitted, here on the submission form, we can just go ahead and execute the workflow. So we'll just go ahead and paste the Reel URL. Form is submitted. And now we can go ahead and add another node. We will add an HTTP request. And in here, we want to set up Appify. So we'll go do that right now. This is the Appify website, apify.com. And you can just go ahead and sign up here, use your Gmail, whatever you have. So after you create an account and sign up, you come up here to go to console, top right, click. After you come to the Appify store, you click go to console. Here on the left side, you'll see this icon for the Appify store. You'll come here and we'll search for Instagram comment scraper. So you see here $2.30 for 1,000 results, and we will come into integrations and we will scroll down, use Appify endpoints. We want to copy the run actor synchronously and get data set item. So if we copy this over and go to n8n, we can paste it in here. And the URL already comes pre-built with the access token, but I'm going to remove it here and set up a bearer auth just so the token doesn't show. So I'll paste it here. So I took off my token and this URL just for this example. I'll just create another way to get authenticated. We will do a bearer auth, and for the credential, we have to get the token here. So back in Appify, here on the left side, settings, API, we can go ahead and create a token. Go ahead, set an expiration date. What is? Set it for Monday. Create. And now I can just go ahead and copy this API token, come over here, paste it in, and we're ready to go. We will go ahead and select send body, JSON type. We will use JSON here. Where do we get this from? If we come back to Appify and we go to the comment scraper, we'll click on the JSON here and copy this. We can go ahead and drop this into here. One of the things you can see here is that it pulls the direct URL from this link, and we want to go ahead and drop in the URL that we had. So we can just go ahead and delete this. Clear that, and this. We will take this and just drop it in. No, we don't want that. There we are. So now it will take our link from the form submission. So here in the JSON file, you can change the result limit here. I set it to 5 because there are only 3 comments on this post, but you can change it to your needs. I executed the step and we can see that we have an output here, schema table JSON. I pinned the data just so we don't have to continually run this step. But again, if you need to run more comment scrapes, you can set a higher results limit. So the next node we want to add is OpenAI, and we want to message a model. Again, here you want to set up your credentials to OpenAI. This is again different than just if you have a ChatGPT subscription. So there are other videos. If you go watch the 0 agent video on the channel, it'll walk you through setting that up. And now we get to select a model type. You can pick whatever model you're comfortable with. 4.1 mini, typically the most cost effective in terms of the amount of tokens, and the request here is not too complicated. So it definitely has enough power to give us good solutions here. We want to add a system and a user prompt. So for the system prompt, it's a art and a science. Prompt engineers these days, right? In high demand, because for good reason. How you speak to the model can get you dramatically different output. So, but anyways, we have an overview here, some context about what's going on. This company is trying to get qualified leads for their clients. So I gave it some instructions. I also said the input is from the previous node, the text here. So this is the text brought over. Here I gave it some examples. I gave it a standard operating procedure. Again, I'm dragging over the text from the input, and I gave it some final notes. Just sometimes you'll get comments that are very generic. You want to make sure that you're not just using kind of sloppy comments. We want maybe some interesting comments here. This is the system prompt, and for the user prompt, just giving a little bit of description to the model. You are an intelligent content writing assistant. Look through the comments, and yeah, let's see what we can get. And again, here for this, it's literally just dragging over the text and dropping it in, right? So it will read the input from the previous node here. We'll go ahead and execute the step. Quick pause. If this video is remotely helpful, hit the subscribe button and we'll level up together. We have results, and 2 of them did not meet our criteria and 1 did. So we have content yes here, we have content no for these 2. The next node we can go ahead and add then is a filter node. Why are we doing this? To filter the content that has passed our criteria. So we just have a simple if the conditional statement here, if the content is yes, then we're able to continue on. We will go ahead and execute the step. Great, so we have one that was retained and it discarded two. So now we can move on. And the next thing we will do is go ahead and add a Google Sheet. We will use the append row in sheet function. And just a quick note here on the filter, right? So it has to be equal to yes, exactly how it's written. So if you put a lowercase y here, all three would get discarded. So just be mindful of little details like this because it can cause a headache. Anyways, capital Y, just like in here. We'll go back to append a row in sheet. You want to connect your Google Sheets account to n8n. Again, there are other videos in the channel that walk through this, the agent 0 to 1. You have to go through Google Cloud Console to get this done. And it will just pull up a list of documents from my Google Sheets, and I can go ahead and select it from here. Account is credentialed. I'll go ahead and select the sheet now. And this is just the simple sheet, right? So I want the ID, the comment, the author of the comment, the timestamp, and the comment URL. So if we go back to n8n, we can come here from the request here, so the information that we're pulling, and we'll go ahead and just start pulling in this information. So ID, we'll drag over the comment URL. So we have comment, we want to drag over the text. The author is the user, and the timestamp right here. All right. We can go ahead and execute this step. Now, if I check back here, the Google Sheet was appended. So we have the information that was coming through from the input, and now it's loading into our Google Sheet. So if we come back to n8n, we can go ahead and add, I'm going to add a loop here because I want it to loop over if there is more than one comment, so it'll continually run through the process. We can go ahead and delete these nodes here, and next we can go ahead and add OpenAI, message a model. We can go ahead and pick a model here. I'm going to use the mini again, 4.1 mini. And again, here you want to go ahead and add prompts. So I went ahead and added some prompts here. So again, art science, probably paying a lot for prompt engineers these days, but I went ahead and gave it an overview. I gave it an objective. I want it to do some, what are we doing here? We're doing research on the comments. So I want this model to do some research, get some ideas, and return an output to me in a very particular form. So I gave an objective, and I gave it some things to focus on in the research. I gave it also output instructions, and again here, JSON is probably the best format to speak to models. So if you use JSON, it's really easy for the models to structure the output, so you'll get less kind of wonky outputs if you just tell exactly output in JSON in this format. You'll have a higher hit rate in terms of maybe things that you're looking for from the model instead of maybe just character text in English or other languages. JSON is pretty easy for the model to give you answers. And yeah, so here we have the example workflow. I told it particularly how I want the output in JSON, and I told it some information about the target audience alignment. So this will do some research for us, and it'll give us a very structured output in JSON with a research overview that we will also run through another model. If you saw in the prompt, there was reference to Tavily. So we will use a tool to do research. We'll do HTTP. Tavily will allow us to do research, and we'll have to put in some of the information here. For the folks that are not familiar with Tavily, here it is, tavily.com. You can go ahead and create an account here, sign up for it. They have some credits that you can use. Again, as stated here on the website, you connect your model to the web. So through Tavily, we can do some research. And if we come back to n8n, in here, there are some parameters that we want to add. Here you want to toggle on send body using JSON below. We have some JSON here. I'll let you see it. Again, we have this in the community. I have the exact template. So if you want to just download my build and use it, or change some things from the build to customize for your use case, you can also do that. And again, folks have questions in there. People are helpful with each other. So building these can get a little tedious. So it's good to have people to work with who are on the same mission or to get some support. And want to see faster results? My community is packed with people who are already building and automating. Get access to their strategies and shortcuts. We're diving deep into the topics, and I'm sharing all the best strategies. Join us. The link is in the description. I'll see you inside. Now, if we come back to the model, again, in here, we are using Tavily, right? So use the Tavily tool to do real-time research. And this is how we're connecting the model to the web, so that we can actually get the research done. We want to come here and also, again, output content as JSON, right? Like we gave it very particular parameters here. This is the exact format that we want it to output in this JSON format. So we'll go ahead and toggle this on. Instructions, and we can go ahead and execute the step. Here's our output here. So we have the role of assistant. The template used was rule 3s, which if you remember from the prompt, it was one of the template right here in the templates, rule 3. So I went with rule of 3s, and we have some interesting content here. And we also have some valuable content. Here are 3 powerful ways to use or to leverage AI avatars. Let's see, is the hook strong? AI avatars are exploding on TikTok. Here's how to use them to skyrocket your content. I like that. That's pretty good. So this is the information that we were generated. So fundamentally, we are just viewing comments that we find on posts. So this one, we used a pretty generic piece of content that wasn't necessarily viral. It had 3 comments on it. But even from those 3 comments, we were able to generate some research and also get a fully structured script for us. Now, just imagine if you're going after highly engaging content, whether it's video or photo content, and the fire, and there's a lot of funny stuff or interesting stuff or fun facts or who knows, but you can scrape those and you'll get pretty solid scripts for you generated automatically. So again, we're setting this up, and now it just shows up, right? So you can just get it consistently, constantly, and that'll take some of the decision making and mental fatigue that you have to go through, and it'll just get generated for you. And add another node, a Google Sheet, update row and sheet, and again here you'll just connect the document from the sheet that we used. We can go ahead and add some columns to the sheet. Hook outline and template used. So in here we added the template, hook, and outline columns. So back in n8n, we can just go ahead and select the So we added the Google Sheet. From the list, we have our sheet. We want to column match to ID, and then we don't need all of this. We'll just use the outline, the hook, template, and outline is all we need. The important thing to note here for the ID, we want to go ahead and use the Google Sheet ID. For the rest of, we will take the template from the model. We'll take the hook from the model. And finally, the outline we will take and place in here. So now we can go ahead and execute the step. And here we are. So if we check the Google Sheet, we should have those columns appended. Quick pause. If this video is remotely helpful, hit the subscribe button and we'll level up together. And here we are. So we have the comment, the author, the timestamp, the URL, and what gets generated for us is what template we're using. It'll show us the hook and it will show us the outline. So in totality, what just happened, it's so automated. If you put this on a viral piece of content and you scrape, say, 50 comments, 100 comments, 250 comments, and say the comment section is just electric, people are going off. There's so much great content in there. There's so many nuggets that you can build entire scripts off of, series off of, you name it. And this is something that can do it for you while you sleep, or you can run it whenever you feel like it. Imagine you're sitting down and you're trying to think of content. If you have this running, if you run it for 50 comments, if you run it for 100 comments, how much time does that save you? Instead of sitting there, what's the idea? Oh, that idea, let's change it. You can literally just get a Google Sheet filled with 100, 200 of them instantly. So it really we just want to connect this to the loop node. What does this do? It'll continue through for the comments, every single comment that we're filtering. So it'll do, for example, if we had the filter set previously at 5 comments. Say we wanted to set it at 250 comments. Maybe 100 make it through, or 50 make it through to your criteria. And for every comment, we're going through the process, right? So we're doing research with Tavily, we're getting the structure built out, and we're getting that structure put in a Google Sheet. So you just loop through to make sure that you get through all your comments, get the research, get the structure for you, and get it set. So it can just save you so much time. And yeah, I hope you find it useful, and I'll see you in the next one.